I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
BELLEW.
What kind of voice is that?
You're a film star, aren't you?
No.
Oh, you're in Creed, mate.
Twice, I know.
Twice. How are you, first of all?
I'm all right, lad.
You look well. What you done different? Beard different?
No, nothing. Just shaved half my beard off and went on holiday. Got a nice tan.
You are going massively grey, aren't you?
Thanks for reminding me, but so are you too.
It's all right, no worries.
Your beard's even more grey than mine.
Why are you aggy? I'm just saying, like, you've got grey.
Massively grey.
You've got a good hairline.
Well, you know, it's one of the few things I've looked after.
Okay, let's talk about tonight. Yeah. Cordina Rakhimov. Is Cordina Rakhimov a harder fight than Cordina against the Gawa?
Good question. On paper, yes. Yes, because we know just exactly how good Gawa was. We don't know how good Rakhimov is, so we'll find out tonight.
What will we find out tonight?
If Rakhimov can take what Cordina's got, if he can, it's a really good fight, but I'm not sure if he can. Cordina's power when his hands are right is really good. One of the most underrated punches in boxing. Great punch, got a great punch selection. His timing spot on. Technically a really good fighter, Joe Cordina, but he's got it all to do tonight, I really think so.
Now you're etched in Welsh boxing history, aren't you, really?
That's worked out.
Well, you had 2 fights with one of Wales' best ever boxers, Nathan Cleverly.
Yeah, but that doesn't... And I'm not sure about that statement.
Why?
He's a good fighter. Well, he was, but you know...
One of Wales' best ever boxers, come on. He was world champion. He deserves that pedigree of kind of compliment.
Joe Calzaghe, Enzo Maccarinelli, or Johnny Lewis.
One of?
Yeah, okay. Steve Robinson. Wales had many, many talented fighters. A brilliant
Howard Winston.
Brilliant fighting nation. Yeah. Well, brilliant fighting nation. Can't knock them. He's one of them, I suppose, yeah.
You're so aggy. The fight...
What does aggy mean?
Aggie in Essex means like, basically you had like a thing with him about 8 years ago and you're still holding it like, yeah.
We don't like each other, what do you want me to do?
You're saying he is though, isn't he?
Well, if you say so.
Wow. Right, I don't want to get you in trouble.
Well, you always seem to do it every time you interview, and I didn't want to be interviewed once again, and you said 2 minutes.
Tony wants to be left alone.
Yeah, Tony did want to be left alone, as always, but you pester me.
People don't realise I pester you, I will say that. I do pester you every time I see you. What's your thoughts, Tony, on this situation about a potential night we could see in Saudi Arabia or the Middle East, with AJ Wilder, FURY-USYK on the same night?
Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I'd love nothing more than to see that happen.
Is it realistic?
4 different teams all working together. Be the first time in boxing history.
Eddie Hearn spoke to him 3 times about it this week. He's well, he said that AJ's in, Wilder's in, Usyk's in. To his understanding and judgment.
So Eddie said
he questions Fury. That's what he said.
So 3 out of 4 are in, really? Is that what he said?
That's what Eddie says. Well, I'm not saying they've signed paper to paper, etc., etc. But what he's saying is he believes that those 3 are in. But I think this was more Hearn having a dig at Tyson Fury.
Okay, well, some go on that, to be honest. I mean, if you've got 3 out of 4, that's really impressive. If anything, you've got the most watchable fight already made, because no one wants to see a fight more than Wilder v AJ. And no one in the world can tell them what's going to happen.
FURY-USYK could be for undisputed, though.
Of course. But more people will want to watch Wilder v AJ. You've got a choice. You can only pick one fight. Which one you want to watch?
What happens in that fight then?
I must have tested the question.
I've just asked you a question back. I'm the interview, you're the answerer.
No, I'm just saying. Imagine them two fights and you had to pick one. Imagine they both go at the same time and there's a channel to watch either one.
No, they're obviously not going to be the same time, we're the same night.
I know, it's what's crazy. That's good on them all. I hope it all happens.
What happens in AJ Wilder?
I have no idea.
Brandon Scott,
Well done, champ.
what happens?
First one who lands big wins. Because both of them are brilliant finishes. Exciting finishes. Wilder's a little bit more reckless and wilder. And literally wild. He is what it says on the tin. AJ went going for the finishes, more calculated. And probably a better finisher. Because he's technically better. But I have no idea what would happen. And I would pay good money to see it.
How much is a ticket worth for that? AJ Wilder, FURY-USYK on the same night, wherever that is, Saudi Arabia or wherever.
Put a price on it. You'd have one of the chess matches of a lifetime between two heavyweights, and you'd have utter chaos in another one. So, like, you wouldn't have to put another card on the bill, another fight on the bill. You couldn't, because you couldn't give tickets to anyone else.
What do you think about Fury fighting either Zhang or Ruiz in his next fight?
I think they're good fights. I think they're decent fights, to be fair.
What's the better fight?
Zhang gonna come more.
Because he beat Joyce.
Not just because he beat Joyce, because stylistically, it's an easier fight, it's a harder fight. He'll just jab the head off Ruiz. He won't even get close. Ruiz is smaller than me. Fury has to fight big guys.
What do you think of Joyce's loss to Zhang?
Very unlucky. I felt very bad for him, to be fair. Just a really off night. Just didn't look to be himself in there. I'm not making excuses for him because I know Joe, I like him, but he's not, it's not someone I should be supporting or promoting, but didn't look himself. When I seen the weight, I was a little bit shocked. Why would you be a stone lighter when you're a heavyweight? Insane, really, but I don't know. You got to give credit to Zhang. Put his shots together really well. And one thing I will say, for the first time in Joe Joyce's career, it's the first time I've seen a punch to the head stop him in his tracks. That happened in the first 2 rounds. So it's the first time I've seen him react to punches to the head. I've seen him react off a couple to the body, but I've never seen him react off shots to the head, and he did.
Do you think he has to rematch him?
No, of course he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. But he's a fighter who prides himself on taking risks and fighting anyone at any time, so I don't know. No, it's a little bit leaky on the management side, but Joe Joyce is a good fighter. I mean, I don't know what there was to gain in fighting Zhang. That was the biggest worry for me. And I think Joe might have actually started to believe in his own hype of like, I'm indestructible, no one can hurt me. Because I say in them first 2 rounds he did get hurt. So I don't know, mate. I only wish him luck. He's a nice kid, Joe, and I like his management. Adam Morel, I think he's a lovely fella, lovely kid, and I wish them all well. I really do, but I just think it was a little bit green taking that fight. A little bit, when you're on the verge of a world title and you're someone's mandatory, you just go, you know what? We're either going to sit off and wait, or we're gonna have an easier fight. We don't need to face this monster who basically was undefeated himself. He went tooth and nail with Filibergovic, and I'm not saying he beat Ergovic, I just thought it was a really close, hard fight. So why do you need to face him? Because he's got the defeat to Ergovic. You have nothing to gain. Joe Joyce had nothing to gain but everything to lose, and it showed that way.
Final one before I let you go. What do you think about Eddie Hearn saying that he wants AJ to fight Dillian White in the summer before any potential fight in December?
Don't know, first I've heard.
He said they're going to make an offer to Dillian White. Hearn told me that today, to fight Dillian White in the summer at a stadium, July, I reckon, from what he said. What do you think about that as a risk before going in against someone like Deontay Wilder?
Big fight, domestic rivalry, got history.
Is it risky?
Of course it is. Any fight in that division's risky. Any fight. Every heavyweight getting in the ring's taking a risk. Just takes one. Takes one in any weight division really, but even more so in that one. And because them two have got a bit of history, by the time them two get in the ring against each other again, it'll be personal, 100%. You know it'll get spicy.
And you're happily retired, yeah? Am I talking German? Are you happily retired?
What makes you question?
I think if someone chucks a lot of money at you, you come back.
But no one is.
I'd love to see you back. I've got to admit, I'd love to see you back.
40.
So, Zhang's nearly 40. You're not as heavy as him either. On par. No? Done? Money talks?
Money always talks. Thanks, Cougs.
What? Who do you want to call out? I'm only joking. Very much talking to
Never
iPhone.
joking. It's always about the headline, and you'll drag whatever part of this clip off and stick that as the headline.
We won't do that. We
You
won't do
it
that.
every time.
Are you staying up? Are you staying up?
You'll see the fucking rematch come back in a minute. You carry on with that kind of chat. I'll show you exactly what coming out of retirement's all about.
Such an aggy fuck. You've been retired for 20 years. all right. Good luck. I like Everton anyway. Big up Alex Iwobi. Thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. And yeah, we'll catch up with you again soon. Tony.
Refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17, 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,